Hello, welcome back. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Tracy, and in this episode of Halloween Spooktacular, I am going to discuss voodoo, as well as Marie Laveau, who is basically the queen of voodoo. So stay tuned to learn more. What we know as in the mainstream as voodoo is actually a branch of voodoo, which was brought to the New Orleans area back in 1791 when the Haitian Revolution broke out. So refugees from Haiti actually brought the traditions of voodoo into New Orleans. And back in that time, New Orleans was one of the very few slave-owning areas of the United States, which also had a large community of African American free people who lived there as well. So it was New Orleans, which had a larger population of people and also refugees from Haiti, back in that time, who kind of adopted this voodoo version of the voodoo tradition that was brought from Haiti. So that is kind of like the origin of voodoo as we kind of know it to be, like from the New Orleans part of the United States. And from that area was Marie Laveau. And she lived from 1801 to 1881. And Marie Laveau was largely known as the Queen of Voodoo, as she was the acknowledged leader of the Voodoo religion from, I believe it was, 1850 until she retired in 1869. Marie Laveau presided over the ceremonies for the Voodoo Traditions in the New Orleans, Louisiana area. Now, one of the biggest traditions of the year for the Voodoo community back then was on St. John's Eve, which was on June 23rd, where hundreds of worshipers would gather around and dance and beat some drums, and basically like have a ceremony outdoors where Marie Laveau would be like the leader of the ceremony with these hundreds of worshipers. Now, if she wasn't doing ceremonies and things like that, you could find Marie Laveau in her home on St. Anne Street in New Orleans, where she would actually be putting together charms and potions and things that she would then sell to her clientele. And her clientele did include wealthy white people as well as free African American people. So Marie Laveau was very well known in the area of New Orleans amongst all citizens, no matter what their background. New Orleans is also very Catholic. There's a lot of religious people as well in New Orleans, both black and white, who are religious rather than of the belief of voodoo. So a lot of the traditions in voodoo also kind of seem a little bit tied in with Catholicism. So there is also like, I believe a lot of their music might have a lot of Catholic sounding songs involved and things like that. But it's basically because voodoo really is a mixture of the local New Orleans culture as well as the Haitian voodoo culture, and then it intermingled into what we know of voodoo today, like I already stated. But I think that that is such an interesting thing about voodoo, because it just shows that no matter what you believe, you can bring all of your beliefs together into one and still have a very meaningful belief system, as well as some traditions that you can build yourself as well. So another cool thing that I like about voodoo, or another thing that is well known, I guess, in popular culture, where a lot of people know about it, are voodoo dolls. So voodoo is known for things like voodoo dolls, as well as having ceremonies where people actually go into a trance-like state and allow themselves to become possessed by beings or entities. And they can then let that being communicate through their body, using their own body as a vessel. It's similar to what you might have seen in the movie Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg and Patrick Swayze, where Whoopi plays the part of this woman who's kind of a medium between the physical world and the spirit world. And then the spirit of Patrick Swayze's deceased wife actually possesses Whoopi so that she can then communicate with her husband in the physical plane. So anyway, it's an idea similar to what you see in that movie where the entity or being actually does take over the body of the person who is in somewhat of a trance, and they actually do communicate with people on this side of the veil. So I do think that voodoo is kind of an interesting thing to learn about and to study. I don't actually practice any voodoo or hoodoo, which is kind of like branched off magic from voodoo or related to anyway. Although I don't practice these things, I do find them rather interesting, and I love to learn about different kind of cultures and people from all around the world. So, in light of voodoo's reputation for speaking with spirits and kind of playing with the spirit realm in the physical world, as well as the voodoo dolls, and also like all of the charms and things like that, American Horror Story even made her a character in their series, which is played by Angela Bassett, where they actually depict Marie Laveau as a character in the present day who is still living from back, from Marie Laveau's life all the way back in 1891 when she made a deal with the devil for eternal life. So even in that series, they kind of pick up on those little things about voodoo and kind of place them into the fictional show with her as a character in the present day. So I found that quite interesting as well. So, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on voodoo? Do you have any experience with voodoo, or do you know anyone who does? Let us know in the comment section down below. And also, if you haven't yet, be sure to click subscribe and subscribe to Meaningful Motivations with Tracy Erickson, because that would make me so, so, so happy. And it would make me feel like you love all of the work that I'm putting into these videos for you each and every day. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.